Okay. Yeah, this is such a good topic. It's such a good topic because I have like a million little deal breakers.
Yeah, I think like even if there's an incident of like emotional upheaval in a relationship, I can just be like, okay, well, that's something that we'll have to work on. And if maybe this happens like, I don't know, several more times and like we just cannot figure this out, then it will be a problem. So I kind of, yeah, I work it into like my future model of like how the relationship is going. And I'm like, okay, this is an area that we'll have to address eventually, and if we don't address it because we just try to and we just can't, then that'll be a deal breaker, but it's not like a deal breaker in the moment.
Oh, you're so cute. Ah! No, it's just like amazing how you guys naturally just like project into the future and then you naturally try to work on things and optimize things and make things efficient. It's like so I don't do that at all. Like if something goes wrong, I think how can I feel better? I don't think how can we fix this?
Ooh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, this is like I was like listening to that Lana Del Rey song where she's like, I just want to feel good. I just want to feel good for like the entire chorus. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I need a song that's like, I just want to optimize everything.
What? It sounds like almost psychopathic. just, no. Just because it was in the context of like a love song or a pop song, can you imagine like Selena Gomez? I just want to optimize everything. I just want to optimize everything. There's so many deal breakers that shouldn't be deal breakers because SI thinks a lot of little things are representative of the whole, especially if it's a SI-FI loop. Some things are categorized in a way where even though it doesn't matter, I think that it represents like deeper things about a guy's characteristics or personality, and then suddenly it becomes this huge deal where all that happened was like he didn't pull out my chair or something stupid like that.
You have all these like tiny associations that sort of add up to this whole, but maybe one like wrong association could like give you like a red flag sort of thing where you're like, oh, okay, no, that's not the person that I want. And I think for NI, it's like it's so much more vague and fuzzy. I wouldn't be able to say any specific things that the person does or doesn't do. Just the sort of perception that I have of them, and if it fits with this perception that I have of my ideal partner in my head. I guess maybe one thing, I'm not sure if it would be, if one specific thing would necessarily be a deal breaker for me, but it might be kind of like a little alarm bell where I'm like, okay, if this continues in this pattern, then maybe they're not the person for me. But there could also be that I'm just sort of misinterpreting it and maybe they do sort of align with like these NI ideals. So I think it's kind of like observing that person for a while. That sounds so like creepy.
That sounds so INTJ. Like, I'm just gonna observe in a corner until I decide mentally that I approve of you, and then I will approach you.
One thing that I've learned is to sort of like open up what could constitute my ideal partner because I think these internal associations that we have, whether they be NI or SI, are just based on the life experience that we've had. And so sometimes they can be kind of like this incomplete structure. In the past, I sort of thought, like, oh, okay, I know exactly who I want. And they're going to look roughly kind of like this. And maybe if one or two things are off, that's fine, as long as, like, on the whole, they sort of align with this image I have in my head. But then I think once I get out there and meet more people and kind of get to know people on a deeper level, maybe especially like in a romantic sense, or just get to know how I interact with different types of people, I think that actually kind of expands my NI a lot more. I'm learning not to be so rigid in thinking about this ideal partner and then trying to like figure out if they fit into it, and rather just see who they are truly without my like projection onto them, and then just figure out if they're good or not for me.
Okay, so like for figuring out if the person is like your ideal person or not, is it just like, do you just suddenly know, like kind of in a first impression or gut feeling kind of way?
Yeah, I think there is
Like,
that.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, just in things of like mannerisms and body language. I can just sort of tell just like their energy, kind of like if they're kind of, I don't know, the type of person that I'm looking for. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at just like looking at someone for like a few seconds and just being like, oh, okay. I think that's generally the type of person I might want to be with, and then I would go further and interact with them and kind of observe and think and analyze.
INTJ is the only type to analyze love before falling into it. But do you ever feel like you get caught off guard by your SE? Like you might pursue someone or like accept being pursued by someone because your SE is like, oh yeah, that would be fun, and then like, you know how emotions go, then you're like, oh, maybe I kind of like this person, and then your inner is like, no, what have I done?
I don't know if I have like enough dating experience to like properly answer that question. I guess on the whole, I've been kind of quite guarded when it comes to dating. Okay. I guess for a long time I thought that I was like looking for a specific MBTI type, and then I met someone who's like a different MBTI type, but still fits some of my ideas on cognitive functions and how they make compatible relationships or not. So that still kind of fits into my NI. So I guess in that sense, I kind of was caught off guard and just let my SE, yeah, open up to that experience. So does that work with SI too, or is that different?
I would say like FI could maybe be like or dislike general feelings,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of like actually examining someone in a romantic context, yeah, no, SI would have to like look at a person over a long term.
Right.
Yeah. I think it might be because I'm older. Like, I have more SI experiences and memories. Like, beforehand, I think my SI could immediately be like, oh, he did this one thing, or he didn't do this one thing. Like, I know right now, but now I'm like, okay, now I have to like parlay that out into like a bunch of different things, like different points of reference. I was on a first date with a guy, and he did like one action, like he just said like one sentence, and like I somehow decided that that meant so many things about his personality. I was like, okay, I think that means that he's like a focused and dominant person. All these things that turn out to be like completely untrue just because I decided that this one little thing represents this whole thing, which is like not true at all. I think that's what SI does. It like makes a lot of value judgments based on like very specific things. Okay, I'll list a deal breaker. Like if a guy's first message to me on text or my email doesn't have proper spelling and grammar, it's done. No. I just assume all sorts of things, like you don't really care. Like, first of all, you don't really care about me. See, that's not really true, because some people don't spell things out properly for anyone. So like, but my first thought is, okay, you don't really like me. You're just like, like fuck it, let's just text this girl. Who cares? So that's my first impression based on SI. Other impression, lots of things like, you know, you're not professional, you're not maybe like as intelligent as I would like you to be, like all sorts of things that logically I know that that's not true, because like a lot of people don't spell things when they're texting to everyone, but then I just have all these associations and I can't get over it, so I'm like, okay, automatic block.